If you have a PlayStation 5 or hoping to buy one, then you might be wondering about the latest games that have been released for the PlayStation 5 previous year. There have been quite some of the great games that have been released in 2023, and after knowing it will definitely make your craving huge for these games to get it on your PlayStation 5 right now. So without wasting your time any further, let's just quickly start with the list of the best 15 games that were released in 2023 according to me. Starting off with number 15, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. It is an open-world action-adventure game based on the Avatar film series which needs no introduction. The game development is done by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft. Frontiers of Pandora is a first-person perspective game. You start this game with a Navi orphan who is trained and raised as a soldier under the protection of Resources Development Administration, known as the RDA. The game story has nothing to do with the original movie series but has some resemblance from it. The open world of Pandora has 3 different regions and each region has different missions and inhabitants. The game features a special skill known as Navi Sense which helps to identify the weak points of enemies as well as explore the objects in the player's surroundings. You will get to use weapons like automatic assault rifles and shotguns which are provided by the RDA. And you can also use bow and arrows and spears to kill enemies. Just like every other open world game, when you make progress in the story, you will unlock combat skills and improved body armor. You can also craft the ammunition by collecting the resources from the game environment. Like in the movies, animals are also present in this game and by hunting them you can collect resources. You can fly on a creature called the Ikran and the creature will also help you to quickly navigate through the places. This game is like a gift for the movie fans of the Avatar series who hope to enter and explore the world of Pandora. This game was released for PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X and S and Amazon Luna. Next on number 14 is RoboCop Rogue City. It is a first-person shooter game developed by Xone and published by Nacon. The story of this game is based on the famous RoboCop film series set in the old Detroit. The game features the multiple dialogue options to solve the quest and the decisions you make will result in different outcomes depending on the choices you make. The weapon you get comes with the unlimited ammunition called the Auto 9 gun. You can also pick up weapons after disarming the enemies. Thanks to the RoboCop metal body, you will get very less damage from the enemies and you can also use enemies as your shields to save yourself in the combat situation. You also get experience points after completing missions and with that you can purchase abilities like taking less damage or dash move. After getting favorable reviews from the critics, this game deserves to be in the list of best 15 games of 2023. A perfect gift to the 90s children and elders who were the fans of the RoboCop film series. It is a chance to remember and relive the events of the movie series. This game is available for PlayStation 5, Windows and Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 13 is Dead Island 2. It is an action role-playing game and can be played as a first-person perspective. The game has been developed by Dambuster Studios and published by Deep Silver. The story is set 15 years after the events of Dead Island, which is a prequel to this game. The story is set in Los Angeles in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. When you start the game, you get to choose your favorite avatar from the 6 characters presented. Each and every character has different skills and abilities. The environment of the game is partitioned into 10 different zones and you can freely explore each and every zone. As you make progress in the game, you also unlock fast travel points which makes it easier to travel within the different zones faster. You will get melee weapons and also long range weapons which can also be further modified. This game was released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 12 is Baldur's Gate 3. This game is developed by Larian Studios, which is an RPG. It is the third installment of the game series of Baldur's Gate. This game was praised by critics for its gameplay, narrative and the complete foundation of this game. This game is not only single player but also cooperative multiplayer in which you can create one or more characters and form a party along with a number of given characters to explore the story campaign. And you can also team up with other online players to form a party using one of your own characters. The turn-based combat is the type of combat style which is similar to the earlier games published by by Larian Studios. The whole combat is based on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition rules. Baldur's Gate 3 originally released in early access on October 6, 2020. This version only contained the first act and was only released for the macOS and Windows. And in 2023, the full version of this game was released on Windows, PlayStation 5, macOS, Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 11 is Atomic Heart. It is a first-person shooter video game with role-playing elements. The fictional events of this game takes place in the Soviet Union's research facility 3826. In the story of the game, the Soviet scientist Dmitry Skachenov develops combat robots which will help to cut down the manual labor by freeing the population from work and replace them by these robots. The scientist also created an artificial intelligence network called Collective 1.2 through which all the robots will be controlled. He also developed a neuroconnector device that will help the humans to control the robots via remote. However, the experiment went wrong and the scientists lost control over the robots and they went rogue and killed humans in the facility 3826. The weapons you create in the game are by detaching mechanical parts from the robots and the home appliances and assembling them piece by piece. The game is deficient of the ammunition and you don't have the ammo in abundance, but you can also use stealth techniques to disable your enemies. The game is fairly admired by the critics and it was released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 10 is Hogwarts Legacy. It is an action role-playing game that has been developed by Avalanche Software and published by Warner Brothers. The story of this game is set at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, which is influenced by the Harry Potter movie series. In this game, you can create your own character and you can choose their appearance, gender, voice and body type. Just like in the movie, you also get to choose one of the 4 Hogwarts houses. The player character gets to learn the spells, brew potions and master combat abilities as the game progresses. One thing to note that the characters from the Harry Potter movies are not featured in this game. This game was well received from the critics, so if you are a Harry Potter fan, it's a must-have game to play. You should definitely check it out. This game is released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S and Nintendo Switch. Next on number 9 is Lies of P. It is an action role-playing video game developed by NewWiz Games and Rounded Studio and published by NewWiz Games. You can play this game from a third-person perspective. The main character is a humanoid Pinocchio who travels through the city of Krat and fights various robotic mechanical puppets. The whole idea is inspired by Carlo Collodi's novel The Adventures of Pinocchio. Swords and axes are the type of weapons that can be used against the enemies. You can also dodge and block their attacks before they harm you. The arm of Pinocchio is mechanical, in which you can equip the mechanisms like grappling hook or a flamethrower. The decisions you make in this game while playing certain events will lead to 3 different endings. This game is released for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Windows, Mac OS, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Next on number 8 is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It is an action-adventure game developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts. The events of this game takes place 5 years after its prequel Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This game possesses many of the game mechanics from its prequel and also introduces some new elements. Now you can get access to 5 different types of lightsaber and each of them have different unique features. You can still use single and double blade stance, which you used to get in its prequel Fallen Order. Kylo Ren style crossguard lightsaber and the blaster stance are the 2 new stances added to this game. Star Wars Jedi Survivor game has received positive criticism from the major critics. This game has been released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 7 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It is a first-person shooter video game developed by Sledgehammer Games and published by Activision. It is the 3rd installment from the rebooted series of Modern Warfare. Just like the previous 2 installments, Modern Warfare 3 continues to amaze us with its ultra-rich and realistic graphics. In this story, Vladimir Markov, who is the main villain trying to ignite World War III, and the Special Operation Unit Task Force 141 is trying to track him down and prevent his terror ambitions. If you think about the gameplay, it is similar to its prequel Modern Warfare 2 and also the whole Call of Duty series. The game was released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 6 is Assassin's Creed Miraj. The title itself needs no introduction because this game comes from the house of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed series, which I think is the most successful video game series ever in the video game industry's history. It is an action-adventure game developed by Ubisoft Bardox and published by Ubisoft. It is the 13th title from the series of Assassin's Creed. The story is set during the Islamic Golden Age of Baghdad in 9th century. In the story of this game, Baghdad is divided into 4 districts: the Round City, Kirk, Abbasia and Harbiya. A new ability is also introduced in this game known as Assassin Focus, which will allow you to terminate multiple enemies. The moment you activate this ability, the time stops and you can mark up to 5 enemies which will be automatically killed in one go. The game received positive reviews from all the critics who praised the stealth mechanics and world design of this game. This game is released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 5 is Final Fantasy 16. It is an action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix. It is the 16th main installment of the Final Fantasy series. It is only available for PlayStation 5. This game features an action-based combat system with melee and magic-based attacks. The game's story is set in the twin continents Ash and Storm of Valisthea, which is divided into 6 nations who possesses the power to access magical crystals, and they have taken humans as hosts called the Dominants. When you play this game for the first time, to start the game you have 2 difficulty mode options. First one is the story and the second one is normal, and after completing the game the harder Final Fantasy mode gets unlocked, which increases the difficulty and challenges in the combat of this game. Arcade mode is also available where you can use a point system for the combat. The story, graphics, music and gameplay have been praised by the well-known critics. If you are a Final Fantasy games fan, you should definitely not skip this game title. Next on number 4 is Resident Evil 4 Remake. It is a survival horror game developed and published by Capcom. This game is a remake of the original Resident Evil 4 game that was launched back in 2005. This game sold over 4 million units in the first 2 weeks, which made it the fastest selling game of the Resident Evil game series. It is a third-person shooter game with the feature of over the shoulder, same as the original game launched back in 2005. They have completely redesigned the whole game, whether it's visuals, the atmosphere or the new character designs and the backgrounds. The player used to get a suitcase inventory in which we used to collect and store ammunitions and medicines. While in the new game there is a crafting system which enables the player to create ammunition and items by collecting the resources as the story progresses. You can still buy, upgrade and trade items from the merchant like in the older game, and new side quests can also be completed during the main story. The game has been highly praised by all the critics. In my opinion, this is the best Resident Evil sequel of the Resident Evil series because not only they modernized the graphics and the gameplay but also retained the charm of the original game which was launched back in 2005. This game has been released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X and S, iOS and macOS. Next on number 3 is Alan Wake 2. It is a survival horror game developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Epic Games Publishing, which is a sequel to Alan Wake. You can play this game as Alan Wake or Saga Anderson. Both the characters have different single-player stories. It's up to you which story you want to play first, but the initial and the last sequence can only be played as Saga or Alan respectively. Remedy Entertainment started the production of Alan Wake 2, powering it by their own engine called the Northlight engine, which they also used for the quantum break and control. The game director Sam Lake told in an interview that this game took them 13 years to develop, and when Alan Wake 2 was released, it received positive reviews in its favor from all the major critics. Well, in my opinion, this is one of the best survival horror games that you can play on the latest generation of consoles in 2024. This game is released for PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X and S. Next on number 2 is Diablo 4. As the title says, this is the fourth main installment of the Diablo series. This is an online-only action role-play dungeon crawling game which is developed and published by Blizzard Entertainment. Barbarian, Druid, Necromancer, Rogue and Sorcerer are the 5 playable classes from which you can create your own character and you can use their combat skills to complete your quest journey. This game has been praised for its atmosphere, storytelling, visuals, level design and overall improvements to the gameplay from its predecessor title. I want you to know that the microtransactions are also included in the form of cosmetic items, and the most important thing to note that this game cannot be played offline and it always requires an internet connection, which some people might not like. This game is released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S and Microsoft Windows. And finally, the number 1 game on my list is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. It is an action-adventure game which is developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. This is the third installment of the Marvel's Spider-Man series. For those who have not played the previous 2 titles, it is not necessary to play them before you play this game. But in order to understand the whole story lineup, it would be better that you play those titles also, because it is the best Spider-Man video game series until now. And I insist, especially if you are a Spidey fan, as you might already know that this game title is exclusive for PlayStation 5, at least for now. And the reason I am talking like that is because lately we have been seeing Sony have started to push their old exclusive titles on other platforms. This game has been reconstructed on the foundation of older 2 titles by emphasizing on multiple character play style performed by Peter Parker and Miles Morales as Spider-Man. The game developers have expanded combat abilities, which also includes new type of suits and gadgets which get unlocked as the story progresses. Like with the previous 2 games, this also has side missions which can be found in the open world of this game, and you can also switch between the characters to allow them to participate into their individual objectives. So guys, what do you think? Which is your favorite game on this list? Please do comment in the comment section of this video. And if there was a game that is not listed on this video, please do share your thoughts in the comment section that which is your favorite game that should be in the top 15 list. I am so glad that you have seen my video this far, so please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, because I am a passionate gamer and love to share my thoughts about video games. And I hope to see you soon in the next video. Until then, happy gaming.